Okay. Um, let's see if we can pick it up where we left off and work with these shadows. I think what I want to do is maybe darken them a bit and uh, perhaps already merge it down. Let's just see. Yeah, we can do that. In a more, let's say, uh, commission type setting, I might keep all these layers separate and just give myself a bit more ease in workflow. But I guess for this kind of demonstration or just working um, for personal preferences, this is fine. I'll keep my color picker or color cube open now and use my color picker to kind of refine the shapes of the shadow. I'm also thinking about merging everything from the line layer. Maybe, well, get a little bit lighter line. This dark black is kind of overpowering. Um, yeah, this is better. I might want to indeed see if I can darken the whole skin. So that's probably best done with some layer on multiply. I'll use black, so probably multiply is redundant, but cannot hurt. And in this case, I can maybe go around the figure and do a selection. Sometimes I like to build up the selection piece by piece. And I can also, for a selection like this, first select the two legs joined together and then extract from that, oops, the part in between the legs. Holding Alt, I can very quickly shift between what's it called? Polygonal lasso tool and freehand lasso tool. Oh wow, now he looks like he's got some sexy stockings on or something. Ah, great. Let's select the rest as well. And it's often a question what is quicker, making a selection or just painting it in. Well, maybe I can show that as well. I can take a brush and go to my brush settings here and select what is it, hard brush here, maybe with some size opacity. I could also kind of paint in the contour of the shape that I need to fill. Maybe this is even quicker. I'll incorporate the hair as well, otherwise it's probably gonna look a little bit too light. And I'll quickly fill the fists so as not to forget them. Come in like this. Yeah, this is probably even quicker. And I've set a keyboard shortcut where I can quickly fill something with whatever color I have selected. Oh, so now it's starting to read like a dark skin indeed. Boom, very dark. Well, I have some room to play around. I don't know what I should do. Maybe if I keep it quite dark and get some nice speculars. So you know what? I'll just merge it down again. Really relentless with the number of layers. Just one layer, some temporary layers here and there, but okay. So maybe I can look for some lighter tones and selecting now the kind of neutral tone where the light is hitting the surface, kind of the average light. I can of course go towards uh, the white part of the spectrum, but I'll remain fairly close to it just to show if I now take my, what is it, paintbrush. Um, this will probably already show as quite light. And here, of course, I have to carefully consider which parts of the model, which parts of the surfaces are turning toward the light source. So if they start facing directly toward the top and the right, especially in combined areas, that's going to be the most brightly lit. Maybe some for the hair as well, although there I probably want to keep it very subdued. And maybe a bit for the calves. So we might get something like this. And just to show you, there's already quite some visible deviation. And I can, blend this and blur it out a bit, get it a bit softer. I personally like the kind of blur tool or smudge tool, very lightly tapping it. And I can now see if I can't, maybe in another layer, just for kind of safety sake, push the value upward a bit more for some of the parts. I think around this trapezius muscle as well, and probably the buttocks. So let's maybe push it back a bit. And well, it is a matter of back and forth and tweaking. I suppose I even could, let's say, yeah, this looks okay. I'll merge it down again. Yeah, perfect. I even could look for some of the darker halftones. I'll just take this shadow color, maybe on a layer, glaze in some value where the lower part of the leg is turning downward. So kind of leaving the question, well, I'll use it for shadow here, but also leaving the question whether something is in light or in shadow. There's these kind of areas like I had here near the back, the lower back, where it's very hard to say. All right, probably some shadow behind the neck on the downward facing plane of the jaw. Very subtle. And maybe, yeah, just maybe I want to look for some of the lighter tone now. I say light, but it's still on the lower half. And see if some of these areas in the back, whoops, somehow erasing there. Some of these areas in the back are still catching some of the light, probably here as well, around the spine. And it's definitely something that I want to keep subtle, so it shouldn't be too light, but it's just about close enough or facing to the right enough to actually catch some light. Um, so yeah, it might look something like this, maybe with a quite a nice shadow being cast from one side onto the other. And I'm working at a fairly low resolution here as well, which can be a bit tricky. Let's look for some shadow on this arm. Well, oops. Let's turn off this layer. We get a quite clear modeling of the form already. And erasing stuff around the outsides. We could look for, a glint of speculars. And I'm doing these speculars on a separate layer again. Oops. Just to kind of ensure that if I don't like them, I can easily dismiss them. And also I can again control some of the intensity. Just a tad bit of a soft brush. I'll take an airbrush and just put some softness on it. And I think I'll blur it out a bit. Well, soft brush. That's looking quite intense. I'll turn it down. So it looks like white, but it's definitely not white. Let's see. Yeah, it's just above halfway. And maybe as a final touch, I want to get rid of all the flatness in the background. Um, it would be convenient if I had separated my foreground from my background a bit better. But I can still fairly easily mask off the foreground. For now, I'll just overlay everything, maybe again with black, and controlling the transparency. I'll take my, I don't know, oops, and set to linear. Looks okay. Um, Maybe a little bit of a kind of checkerboard effect where this is going to be darker and this is going to be lighter. I don't know if I like this very much. Um, Definitely not as dark. And maybe it's also an idea to reverse it. Wait, maybe I can take this whole layer and flip it, rotate it 180 degrees. Where is my angle? 180. Um, that seems kind of cool. The whole body is kind of experiencing fall off at the same time. That's a nice addition. I maybe do want to kind of get a spotlight effect. So I'll take a soft brush and show just the ground lighting up ever so slightly. And of course, I then have to come in with whites and take quite a full paintbrush and make this gradient still apply to the foreground. Not zoomed in at all. Uh, Looking quite okay-ish. And maybe keep it a bit more subtle. Yeah. So can we maybe, oops, just maybe make a layer and kind of punch in the darkest darks. For example, some, oops, escape, some occlusion inside this cast shadow area. Oops, let's be a bit careful. I've hidden the selection, but it's still active, and you can look for the darkest darks. A bit of crispening up of this edge here as well. Cast shadow plus darkest darks. And of course, with a soft eraser, I can always kind of blend out where need be. Anywhere else, sure, maybe in this area right here. Hide the selection again. Okay. We can already see what that does, but it needs to be accompanied with maybe a bit more strength in the core shadow as well. So I can come in and add some more contrast in this idea of the core shadow. particularly satisfied with the rendering in the arms, but it's okay for now. There we go. Yeah. Let's see. Wow. He definitely needs some occlusion in this part. Oops. Of the shadow being cast by the hair. I'll hide the selection again and just turn up the intensity. Now delete the selection and darken the hair overall. A little bit more core shadow in these areas. And again, this would be quite the back and forth until I'm satisfied. But for now, I think I'll quit this demo. Hope you've gotten the gist of it, and that you can see that with, well, minimum means you can get already quite a clear result. Let's get a bit more of a smooth gradient around this buttocks area, as it's such a large rounding form. And I could, if I wanted to, um, put back some reflected light quite strongly, maybe even in a layer on top of the line work. Maybe I should put this one on top of that. Yeah. Let's see. Kind of intensifying the effect of reflected light, maybe from this ground. The ground is fairly light, as you can see, so and that means that it'll bounce back a lot of light into the figure, and the closer the figure is to the ground, the more light will bounce back. I'll kind of exaggerate it here in the back, kind of suggest a almost rim light type of situation. But again, I'm being very loose with this and quick and dirty, just to show you kind of what to think about in terms of lighting, or at least what I think about in terms of lighting. By the way, separate layer again, I'm painting with white, and gives me the opportunity to uh, show the intensity, making him look very glossy, almost metallic if this bounce light is very strong, because it starts to look like it's directly reflected instead of being reflected more subtly and diffusely. And I'll keep it very subtle, 20% or something. It's something you uh, rather feel than actually see. So it is there. All right, I think we can do the final thing, and the final thing is just deleting or erasing this arrow, and we'll call it quits for this one. Close enough, good enough, not perfect, but on to another one. All right, guys. Thanks, and see you in the next one again. Cheers.